¿Te gustaría cambiar el mundo una vida a la vez? ¿Quieres conocer los proyectos de ADRA a nivel mundial? Entonces acompáñame en la siguiente entrevista con Jonathan Duffy, director de ADRA Internacional. ¿Vamos? Jonathan, what are the main directions ADRA will take in the world in this different time, like earthquakes, tsunami, tornadoes, or in natural disaster? What are the plans for ADRA?
I think that ADRA is maturing in its response to disasters. In the past, every country office wanted to respond, and that created its own disaster. So ADRA has learned to work together as a network. We actually have plans in every country. We have a network-wide strategy that ADRA can move very rapidly and very quickly as one agency to represent our church in the area where it's broken.
Jonathan, tell us about one major ADRA project in the world that is an example to follow for another ADRA in the world.
I think that one of the most exciting projects is a project that we had in Nepal. We looked at a community in Nepal which actually had scarcity of food. So we went to that community and we actually helped them to work out how to do gardening. We helped them to develop market gardens and to create enough food for themselves. Then they found that they were able to grow more food than what they needed just for their own personal needs, and so they began to sell it. And what they found was that over a period of time, they realized that people were coming from Kathmandu buying their food and then they were reselling it and they were making a lot of money and they were only making a small amount of money. So they said to ADRA, how can you help us? So we helped them with literacy and numeracy programs. We helped them to learn how to develop a business plan and how to develop a growers co-op. So that meant that the community now not only had enough food for themselves, but they had this growers co-op and they were taking their own food to market and selling it at the markets in Kathmandu, and that was bringing more money back to the community. So they said, this is very good for our community. Now what we'd like to do is we'd like to develop a new clinic for our community and improve the road and the bridge into our community. So they came up with a plan. It was about $200,000. And they said, we'd like to fundraise for that. So we taught them some fundraising techniques. They were able to then successfully, we gave them some seeding money. They ran some little markets and other things, and they raised the money, like $200,000. And they built a new clinic and a new road. And then they said, you know, our community needs a school and it needs these other things. And they came up with a plan that was $1 million. And do you know what? They didn't have to come back to ADRA. They had actually reached a point of self-sustainability that the community could do that themselves, and we were able to move on to another community. So over 10 years, we saw this growth in this community that ADRA had come to them where they didn't have enough food and everybody was living in poverty and hungry, to within 10 years that this community was self-sustaining and able to develop its own schools and its own clinics and strengthen the community. And that to me is the success of what ADRA does.
Wow, Jonathan. What ADRA needs to keep changing lives one at a time?
You know, we use the term that ADRA changes lives one at a time, but in reality how we do that is we do that through community development. So we work with communities, and obviously everyone within that community changes life one life at a time. When we think about ADRA last year, we were able to help 13 million people. But the reality is that every one of those 13 million people was an individual, and every one of them is a child of God, and every one of them is special to God. And so when ADRA can come into individuals' lives and make them better and represent Christ where it's broken and be an agent of hope and healing, then it makes me proud to be part of ADRA.
Una vez más, quiero agradecer a ustedes por acompañar esta edición de ASN TV. Ya lo saben, ADRA, cambiando el mundo una vida a la vez. Súmate a los proyectos de ADRA en tu ciudad donde te encuentras. Con más regresamos la siguiente semana. Un fuerte abrazo.